I'm the king of the game and I won't be swayed. But there's something that I need, something to push me higher. Talk show Chris Collins and HenricK, they're on fire. They're watching all the rage quitters, exposing them with clean. They keep them gaming real, that's why they get all my respect from me. Rage quit, Chris and HenricK, don't you ever stop. You're the voice of the gamers, bullying rage quitters on the spot. We do it in after, you're the champions we need. Rage quit, Chris and HenricK, you're the heroes of the gaming breed. Turn around the video game mayhem. Chris Collins and HenricK, the rat bring the chaos. Gaming news and industry talk, they got it all. Rage quitting, head banging, it's a metal brawl. Mental meltdown, gaming in flames. Chris and HenricK bringing the thunderous rage. Video games and viral content, better games, ripping through pixels, the ultimate gamer getaway. The ultimate. Dream over, I'm feeling the rage. Chris Collins and HenricK on the stage, talking gaming news. Industry that can't escape, reviewing video games. No need to debate. They bring the heat, spitting truth non-stop with fiery words. They're ready to drop, making waves in the world of video games. Collins and HenricK, they don't play no games. From console wars to DLC scams, they expose it all, making sure no one jams. The audience fired up, ready to explode. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. You know it's a code.
What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. I'm your host, Chris Collins, and thank you for always tuning in live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible. And so, this is the call-in for all the gamers out there. We want you to join the chat box. This is your boy, Chris Collins. So, hey, I need to see you guys on Meta, YouTube, and Twitch. And as for the viewers tuned in last week, as you will see, I am riding solo again as HenricK is traveling the world. Currently, he is in South Korea, and at some time, he will be going to Japan. So, man, he's having a blast. But that doesn't mean that the show Rage Quit stops anytime soon. So I got a jam-packed show for everybody that's tuning in live to Twitch, Meta, and YouTube. So we always like to start off the show with a bang and show you guys a lot of viral content that is circulating all across the World Wide Web. So let's get it. Hollow Knight Silksong is already shaping up to be one of those games that makes you question all your life choices. It's so tough, it makes Dark Souls look like Astrobot. And just when you think you've conquered everything, the game throws in a boss named Seth, and who's not only insanely difficult, but also comes with the story that will hit you harder than his attacks. And as you will see here up on screen, if it wants to work for me right now. Oh, that's not the one. Gotta love the beauty of live streaming. But here we are. 6 years ago, a young fan named Seth was battling cancer, and his wish was to meet Team Cherry, the developers of Hollow Knight. Not only did they talk with him, they actually invited him to design his very own character for Silksong. Sadly, Seth passed away in 2019 before the game's release, but his creation lives on. Now, players can find him in the Eastern Greymoor, where his haunting boss fight and quest line carries his name and lore. And yeah, the fight is absolutely brutal, but this time, losing over and over again actually feels like a celebration of someone's creativity. And Seth even gets honored in the credits, making his passion for Hollow Knight permanent. So yeah, Silksong will make you rage, throw your controller, and probably cry a little. And at least this time, the pain has real meaning behind it. All right, let's check it out and roll the clip. Isn't that so freaking awesome? I love when a studio and developers go as far as to bring an OG fan into the making of their beautiful creation and sequel, which is making a lot of buzz. It's actually probably one of the more harder indie games I've ever played in a long time, but it's also creating waves to be something as a potential runner for Game of the Year. But let's go ahead and dive into the comments around this boss fight, Seth, with the following. So, what a beautiful way to honor Seth's memory and keep his love for the game alive forever. Yeah, that's always been kind of a dream of mine, to be able to voice any kind of boss in a video game. So to see that your passion that started on paper to pencil, or pencil to or paper, excuse me, tongue twister there, that is really, really cool that they're honoring Seth's memory and actually bringing that into the community that Team Jerry has brought to the rest of the world, which is this beautiful game, Hollow Knight Silksong. And then the next one reads, this is more than a game. It's a reminder that art can carry someone's soul, long after they're gone. Seth may lost his battle with cancer, but in Silksong, he lives on, fighting alongside every player who meets him. That's immorality through love and creativity. And last, girls, I can't believe he didn't cry at the Titanic. Do men even have feelings? Boys. Yeah, sometimes there's just some of those video games, but this one more in particular is more of a little bit more of an Easter egg. But yeah, I'm sure you, the gamers out there, can name not once but twice a game that's really pulled at your strings. Red Dead Redemption 2, anybody? But hey, let's keep it rolling. The long-awaited next-gen skate is finally here, and it turns out the most popular trick in the game doesn't even involve a skateboard. That's right. Forget the ollies, forget the kick flips. The fastest way to get around is apparently just hamster wheel yourself into a human tumbleweed. Players are literally rolling their characters into a ball and then launching into a full spread eagle across the map. And the best part, it works. Like, I've seen speedrunners break games before, but this is the first time where the most powerful move in a skateboarding game, it's not skateboarding. And it just makes me think, like, if Rodney Mullen can't make this happen in real life, how the hell is it happening in skate? It's chaos, it's hilarious, and it's going viral for all the right reasons. Roll the clip and check out the insanity. Definitely comes across a bit goofy. But then again, is their excuse early access? I don't know. Seems like that always seems to be like, a clutch that they all kind of grasp onto. But I don't think this is changing anytime soon. I mean, wasn't Skate 3 like this? I don't know. Let's see what the gamers have to say all across the world with the following. So the first one reads, bro, what am I even playing right now? Why is this faster than skating? Yeah, that's always... I think if they could fix that game mechanic, then you're probably going to start seeing less, people rolling around like a human tumbleweed. So I waited over half of my life for Skate 4 just for it to look like Fortnite. Yeah, you did, buddy. And this is the product in hand. And then chooses to do something other than skating realistically, gets mad that the game lets him do what he chooses to do. Isn't that what the beauty about video games are? But then I kind of understand where, some, elitists out there, some of you gamers, where, we did have the Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That's a bit, arcade-like as it is. And so we've been kind of hoping for a good skating simulator for quite some time. And a lot of people were really anticipating that, as much as people were going through a lot of player testing, now that it's finally out for early access mode, free to play with a shit ton of microtransactions, by the way. Woo-wee! It's not getting quite the reception that I'm sure Skate with a dot at the end. What an odd name. Just Skate. That's it. We're just claiming it all. We are the skateboarding legends in the end. And then the last comment reads, look how they massacred my boy. Me playing the new Skate game. So it's not being received well. But I'm just curious with you gamers. Have you jumped in yet? Do you feel like this negative backlash is fair? Can they adjust it? Will they be on the bounce back? Let me know what's good. But let's keep it rolling because, literally. So there's a gamer going viral right now, not because of the kill-death ratio, not because they pulled off a 360 no-scope, but because their gaming chair shoots actual flames. I'm talking a full-on jet engine vibes in the middle of their living room. And now, I don't know about you, but I think we've all seen the RGB setups that get out of hand. And yet, this guy apparently just skipped the neon and went straight for potential fire hazard. No shit's given. I mean, this is like he said, I don't want the immersion. I want to avoid my homeowner's insurance in real time. And here's the kicker. It's dangerous, sure, but I kind of like it. I think it's genius. I mean, who needs flight school when you can roast marshmallows and practice being a fighter pilot without leaving your house? I mean, forget the VR. This is straight up BBQR. All right, I will remove that from my vocabulary. I promise I will never say that again. I swear it's justified. Take a look. guy looks pretty crazy. Is that something that you would see at like a Bullwinkle? Is that something that you would like to ride on if you were at Dave & Buster's? I mean, that is totally insane. What are people doing with their free time? I love it. I think it's great. But hey, I want to see what the gamers around the world are saying around this just iconic clip. This is just, lock it up and put it in the Library of Congress, all right? I couldn't imagine anything cooler if I wanted to. Yeah, forget the whole idea about video games and me having to have the idea about what the environment smells like. I need that gaming chair in my life. I mean, who the hell wants to go in the murky swamps and know what the piss odor smells like when you can really feel the immersion blasting off from your bums? The vibration. That's that kind of PS5 haptic feedback the controller can't deliver to you. Only this flaming jet fighter chair can. And then landlords fear the indoor flight sim. Yes, they do. Yes, they do indeed. And if you are a solo mate, that is a gamer, living in your studio, probably don't want to share this with your landlord. And then professional upstairs neighbor. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that last comment. I was always thinking that you were on the ground floor. What if you were in an apartment complex and you had this same gaming rig set up and you were on the top floor? I don't think a banging of a broomstick is going to do anything to, steer you off course from landing that jet fighter plane or flight jet. You name it. You knew what the point I was trying to make. Hey, but anyways, this is Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, and I can't thank you, the gamers, for always tuning in live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible. And we just want to take a moment right here to go ahead and show you guys the beautiful QR code on screen. This will take you directly to my YouTube channel. That is where you're going to find all the latest buzz around the Chris Collins Show. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show. So I got a jam-packed show for everybody. So are you ready to rock and roll? Oh, I know I am. So let's get the party rolling. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where I discuss... Excuse me. Jesus. Let's try that one more time, shall we? What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. Borderlands 4 dropped last week, and bam! Over 300,000 concurrent players on Steam. And that's more than any Borderlands game before it. Huge numbers, but then you look at the reviews and... yikes. Mixed which is code for this thing runs like a microwave on life support. And in the middle of all this, Randy Pitchford, Gearbox's ringmaster of chaos, is not exactly taking the quiet route on this. Nope. He's out here on social media clapping back at fans like Claptrap discovered a full case of Monster energy drinks. And as you can see, the tweets don't stop. He literally told gamers, code your own engine and show us how it's done. And just imagine if you bought a burger at a restaurant and then they started complaining that it's undercooked, and then they just hand you a spatula like, hey, why don't you flip your own patty, damn it? I mean, that's like customer service. That's just, I don't know. What is this, like an open mic night at a tech support group? I mean, who thought this was a great idea for him to be jumping on X to be playing customer service? I think it's a bit odd, but it doesn't stop there. At one point, he even called Borderlands 4 a premium game made for premium gamers. Oh, good. Now I need to check my credit score before I adjust settings. Thanks, Randy. And this advice for anyone struggling to run the game in 4K, just stop. Drop it to 1440p. Lower your standards and enjoy your premium experience like the rest of the peasants who just can't afford a super rig computer. It's like buying front row concert tickets, showing up in the nosebleeds, and then being told, hey, you can still hear the music, can't you? You can adjust, right? But to be fair, Randy's not totally wrong on all of this. I mean, PC gamers do have all kinds of tools to balance the frame rates, resolution, rendering features, but it's the delivery that stings. Manage your expectations, he says. But let me translate to all the young whippersnappers tuning in live to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. What he's trying to tell you is, it's not broken. You're just poor. That's it. And I know a lot of people, some of these gamers out here are pointing the fingers at Unreal Engine 5. And honestly, at this point, every time a UE5 game launches, it's like betting on a coin flip. Heads for gorgeous visuals, tails, your GPU burst into flames. Okay? And then Epic says it's not the engine, it's the developers. But after Snake Eater and Wu Chang Fallen Feathers stumbled out of the gate, you can't blame gamers for side-eyeing that logo on the loading screen. And here's the bigger issue. What's more important, chasing those mind-blowing graphics or making sure people can actually play the freaking game? Because right now, Borderlands 4 feels like a club with a massive line outside, but only a handful of people actually get let in. Don't you see why that's problematic? And so gamers around the world expressed frustration with Borderlands 4 with the following. So let's go ahead and dive right on into the comments. The first one reads, Randy Pitchford is genuinely the worst thing that happened to Borderlands 4 reputation. There would be 90% less outrage if he simply stopped tweeting and not actively trying to blame people for their cel-shaded game running worse than Cyberpunk 2077 with path tracing turned on. And then you see with Randy's comment that he is quoting on top of, every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and what the software they are running is doing. But I guess that's the thing. I mean, that's the shitty part, right? I mean, we've been discussing this for so long now on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. Why is it that games that always seem to launch in the modern era on day one are never ready and optimized to rock and roll? Why are they never honest with their player base about what specs they actually need in their PC gaming rig? And by the way, it's not just the PC gaming rig. There are also videos circulated online with PS5 console users struggling to even get their frame rate to stay up. That is like unacceptable. What are we, back in the 1910s? Discovering cameras for the first time? What are we doing here, Randy? And the rest of the team over there at Gearbox. And then the next comment reads, Randy Pitchford tells gamers to code their own engine instead of blaming them for poor optimization of Borderlands 4. And like, as you can see with Randy's response, code your own engine and show us how it's done, please. We will be your customer when you pull it off. The people doing it now are clearly dumb and don't know what they're doing. All of the support and recommendations and code and architecture from the world's greatest hardware companies and tech companies working with the world's greatest real-time graphics engine coders don't know what you seem to know. Sarcasm. Randy just wants you to know. That was all sarcasm. He doesn't literally mean it. But then again, he's tweeting numerous tweets trying to defend his game. And it's just like, wouldn't you just rather have just stayed silent? Is silent always the best treatment? I'm asking you, the gamers. Join the chat. I'd love to feature you guys live on air. Do you think this was the right move for the main honcho in the opening weeks of Borderlands 4 to speak out and try to defend his game that can't even run on both console and PC? Dude, look at this guy. And then Borderlands 4 crashing during a promotional video is peak cinema. Really trying to set the right expectations. And yeah, that was actually really, really hysterical because Clueless Gamer, you guys might know, Conan O'Brien, love that soul. Beautiful man. He's got his awesome web series where he's been doing this for so long because he claims he's not a gamer, even though you've been playing games for almost a decade now. I think you know how to use your thumbs on that controller by now. But anyways, the game crashed even during their own promotional video. Isn't this the whole thing about why all those memes are going around Battlefield 6 and about stand your ground, don't pre-order? Because a lot of gamers just don't have faith in these AAA, even some studios labeling their games quadruple A games, and they still can't hold up today, even with the top rigs out there. And then you yourself, when you buy the game, are just supposed to know, like you're a clairvoyant, what to do on the backbone of the game to be able to adjust your settings just to be able to play the game? Doesn't that just sound ludicrous? Sounds outrageous. And then we also get, my man, you do not have to post through this. Just say you're working on it. I feel you, Paul Tassi. And that's Paul Tassi from the Forbes. This is a guy that's been super excited about playing Borderlands 4. I know he's been actually defending a lot of developers that are working for Gearbox. So he's not one of those journalists out there in the gaming industry that's a little bit more critical like I am right now toward Randy Pitchford. But it's frustrating when you have a game like Borderlands 4 that was originally advertised as being $80, and then it got so much pressure that they deduct $10 from it. It's almost like as if they knew the game was going to come out on a shitty note. And then all of a sudden, it's just, if you don't like the experience, just ask for a refund. That's the right approach. Doesn't that sound crazy to you? And then this dude gets more unlikable every time he opens his mouth, and the worst thing he said will always be the next one. So it's like one of those kind of things where it's like maybe he needs to go into behind the scenes a little bit and take some PR lessons about what to say publicly and what maybe to emphasize with the team privately. And then last, are we paying for the game so we don't have to code our own game? What an effing dumb response from a CEO. CEOs are definitely paid way over their worth. And then the last comment that reads just below it, quote, be your own CEO and show us how it's done, please, end quote. Future Randy Pitchford post. Maybe that will be his last post on LinkedIn. I don't know. You tell me. But, yeah, I mean, this is the question I want to leave for all the gamers surrounding Borderlands 4 performance issues. Would you rather play a game that pushes the graphical boundaries, even if it runs like a slideshow, and then rely on that later? Or would you take a slightly uglier game if it meant more people could actually play it smoothly? I mean, shoot, this game doesn't look like Cyberpunk 2077. It does have that comic book-esque look to it. So why is it struggling? Why? Do you have a solution? What would you like to see them do? Let me know what's good. But all right, let's start to turn some gears because Microsoft just dropped an update for the Xbox app on PC. And apparently, they're trying to turn it into the Costco of gaming libraries. One giant warehouse where everything lives under one roof. Steam, Epic Games Store, Battle.net, yeah, they're all moving into the Xbox neighborhood, whether they like it or not. So as you can see with the Xbox Rogue Ally, when you boot up the Xbox app, you can actually see all your games installed across different storefronts, and you can launch them directly from there. That means no more clicking through 5 launchers, 3 logins, and that one CAPTCHA test where you got to like squint at those like blurry pictures of the traffic lights. I know we've all been there, right? It's like as though Microsoft saw us drowning in desktop icons and said, you know what? We're building a lifeboat. It's okay. Join along. And it goes further. There's even a tab for launching storefronts and browsers directly, which, let's be real, this is just a polite way of saying, we know you're still going to buy games on Steam, so we're just here to make sure you don't ghost us afterwards. And, of course, this all ties into the new handheld, the Rogue Xbox Ally, which apparently is supposed to be dropping on October 16th, and no one has an idea what the price tag's supposed to be. And, yes, it's literally called Xbox Ally, which sounds less like a console and more like the one friend who always is there to revive you when you keep running head first into the boss fights or playing Battlefield 6. I'm that guy. I need that. I need that guy. I need you now. But here's the kicker. While other apps like GOG and Galaxy and Play Night already unify your libraries, Xbox is banking on cross-device syncing. So when you rage quit Halo on your PC, the app makes sure your handheld remembers exactly where you stopped crying. I don't know. That kind of sounds a little thoughtful, don't you say? But there are still some limitations. If you pull up a non-Xbox game, it doesn't show the cover art or fancy stats, so that needs to be worked with, but just like a sad, empty screen with a play button. So it's like it's showing up to a party where the host forgot the snacks. But hey, at least the door's open. So let's see what gamers have to say about the Xbox app now launching games from Steam and other game stores with the following. So the first comment here reads, I'm actually so excited for this, man. This was my main complaint back when I had the PC. I hated multiple launchers. I installed GOG integrated launcher, but it never really worked how I wanted. Assuming this works as advertised, I'll be very happy. Been working great for me. Games launched with no issues at all using my controller on my PC in the beta. I mean, once they figure it out, I mean, because remember, we discussed it last week, the Xbox car, vroom, vroom. They want to be the all things gaming, and so they want to be able to show up across your tablet, your mobile devices, whether it is through your TV, console, PC, you name it. Xbox wants to be everywhere. And what's the best place to do that? Well, you better partner up with the third-party storefronts to be able to launch your purchases that you've already bought. You know what I mean? And so to be able to hub that all into one space, I believe is a massive win for a lot of gamers. Yeah, I know there's going to be, a small party of gamers out there that are going to go, what happened? This is just a more of a front to move away from physical copies. And, unfortunately, the youth and even millennials today, they are transitioning towards cloud gaming and digital goods. And so to have a place that stores all your video games in one space, I think that can be a win. But it's all about whether it can be executed the right way. That's going to be the main question. And this could be a big deal. I hate having to launch 5 different launches to see what has which games. Having them all in one place where I could see everything and launch it from one spot will be nice. Though I guess if you don't have them installed, can't see them. Yeah, that's going to be a little weird. Hopefully that's just a little bit of a bug that starts to get tweaked. That's kind of the problem about launching things a little early ahead of time. I wonder what that's all about. I don't have the right answer. But you show up just kind of blank and not see the cover art, it just kind of makes you feel like, is this a multiple launcher? Is it going to work the way that everybody's assuming it's going to be? But then you see comments like this. Was excited to update my Xbox app on my Rogue Ally, and then I clicked on the Batman Arkham City, current Steam game I'm playing on Xbox app. It then opened up my Steam, launched the game, and then when I closed the game, I was back in the Steam and not the Xbox app. What's the effing point? So yeah, it acts as like a one hub, but then it will open up the program, the software of Steam, to then launch the game. Yeah, that's a bit strange. But maybe that's how they were able to win those third-party storefronts, to be able to show up on their new fancy, handy-dandy handheld device. Who knows, fam? And then the last thing I wanted to do is use the Xbox app for gaming. If anything, I'd rather add my Xbox games to Steam as a non-Steam games. It's not even that useful. It only shows what's installed, not what you have available to you, and doesn't include the EA or Ubisoft clients. If you already install the game, you are more likely to just load it from where you installed it. From then to load up the Xbox app to then load a game from another client. Yeah, I got to fix that. I mean, clearly PC gamers are saying that, yeah, you're kind of starting to clean up a little bit of my loading page, my front end, but it's still loading up multiple softwares, which is going to overall slow down my computer. Where is there a way where we can minimize as much as we can? It feels like Xbox is the only one that's trying to address it, at least. Okay? So it's easy to clown on Microsoft right now, but at least they're trying to come up with a solution to bring all your video games for all different kind of storefronts all into one library. I think that's pretty bitchin', don't you think? And then one feature I would really care about that would get me using the Xbox app and the Windows Store would be the ability to play my original Xbox and Xbox 360 games I own via backwards compatibility on Windows. But it's kind of like what I was expressing earlier. I don't think Microsoft really cares to focus on giving gamers a feature to bring your physical copy as a digital good into their Windows Store or the Xbox app. They want you to buy it a second time. I mean, didn't you see all the backlash that Nintendo is facing, that they're rebundling Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 together as like a $70, $80 game. Took it off the storefront. I believe the game was like $30 at the time, and now they just expect you to just jump on. Hey, it's remastered. Hey, you know you got that new fancy sound bar. Well, we tweaked the audio settings for you a little bit. Come on. Don't you have more money? Like the saying goes, old money ain't new money. It's just crazy, fam. And then the last comment reads, pre-orders for the Xbox Ally win. So clearly people are excited. They don't see the grift like, some, gamers are expressing online. And I guess that's where the big question I'll leave you with. Do we actually want one unified hub for all our games, or is this the chaos of juggling launchers just part of the modern PC gaming experience? Let me know what's good. But hey, I'm going to keep this thing rolling along. I'm on top of the crow's nest, baby. Full sail, and let's dive on into another topic of conversation here live on Rage Quit. This is Patch Notes. And the next topic is Valve just announced they're no longer accepting early access games with sexually explicit content. That's right. No more horny prototypes on Steam. Apparently, the problem isn't the game themselves. It's the payment processors. Yeah, those guys, the people who make sure your $70 transaction goes through, are suddenly pearl clutching over explicit updates because nothing screams moral high ground like Visa deciding which polygons you're allowed to see naked. And so, developers started posting screenshots of Steam's new rejection message, which basically says, your app has failed our review because we're unable to support the early access model of development for a game with mature themes. So for all the gamers, let me translate. Listen, we're not saying your game is gross, but MasterCard might be watching, so we can't risk it. And we're fine with distributing a game where you chainsaw an orc in half, but God forbid it's early access and someone's shirt comes off. Okay? So now that I translated it to you, this is where, it all blew up when developers, started really posting, those rejection letters online, like the studio Damn It Bird, creators of Heavy Hearts. Their game literally has a special attack called Masturbate. And look, I'm not judging, but if that's your combat skill tree, I got some questions about your cooldown timer. And this crackdown isn't just Steam. Payment processors have been leaning hard on storefronts like Itch2. Heavy Hearts is technically still available there, but it's de-indexed, meaning you can't search for it. The developers had to make a fake demo page just so people could find the actual game. That's right. They had to cheat the system to sell you a game about cheating. It's quite poetic, quite Shakespeare. Man, oh man. Meanwhile, protests against payment processors, storefronts, and the anti-porn lobby collective shout have been heating up because, of course, they have. Think about it. It's gamers. We get mad over frame rates that drop by like 3 frame rates, you know what I mean? And so imagine what would happen if you could tell them that they can't have their anime waifu dating simulator. They're gonna go nuts. So here's where we're at. Valve is cutting off sexually explicit early access games. Payment processors are acting like the internet still runs on dial-up morales, and developers are stuck trying to smuggle their content like it's a contraband. So let's see what gamers around the world have to say about the following. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. First comment reads, adult games are an easy target because they're pretty niche and often a bit weird. But imagine you couldn't even buy a book with the sex scene in it. That's not even some crazy hypothetical. PayPal has banned at least one person for buying an adult novel. And then a follow-up comment. Imagine if payment processors told HBO they couldn't have sex or nudity in their TV shows. No more Peacemaker? What? If you've seen the show, you know. You know. And yeah, I think we were all a little bit shocked watching, James Gunn's DC Universe unfold, man. What's up with all the orgy scenes? I am totally, that shocked me. Don't show Collective Shout anytime soon. They might think it's sexually degrading of all human enterprises. And then let's keep it rolling. For those that don't understand what this means, something that NSFW games would commonly do is launch an SFW version of their game and then release a free patch that makes the game NSFW. This should only stop games that do the update on Steam itself. Mods and patches added on another site isn't affected, nor is there any way for Steam to prevent it in the first place. And I get that there are avenues to be able to bypass these kind of things, but doesn't that defeat the whole purpose that even Dammit trying to raise awareness to even all the gamers out there? Like, they've even came out and said, like, gamers, you guys got to stop putting all the pressure on Steam and Valve. Like, it's not them. It's actually the payment processors that put so much pressure on the storefront to start, eliminating these games on their end. And I know even Valve has even, stated that they wouldn't remove their section with 18-plus games. They kept that alive. But for games that are in early access, which kind of accumulates to like 65% of the game pretty much being done, and then you, the publisher, the studio developer, bank on enough gamers to support it, whether it's out for free, whether you want to put $10 down to get that access, and then when you release the full thing, they could pay the rest up front. I've always thought early access is pretty dumb. It's just an excuse for people to drop shitty games on day one with all kind of bugginess. But to see that they're going after an adult-themed game, which you have to even register that you're an adult first to even get access, to even load up the page even on Steam. You have to make an account, proving your age, where you live. Then you got to put your payment processor down. I mean, what more do they want from us? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not into all that weird kinkiness. And I totally get where Collective Shout was coming from at one point, where they were trying to go after incest games, because, yeah, that's just weird. I don't know why anybody can even justify that. And even if you were a developer, studio, or publisher, why would you even want to be a part of that? That's a whole different story for another day. But to be going after games that, might show something that you might dislike, how far will that go beyond just sexual themes? You know what I mean? Like, we have Collective Shout that is based in Australia, where the country of Australia has barred gamers from being able to purchase Silent Hill F, which launches this month. Would you like to live in a country where I'm at today, the United States of America, where your federal government told you what kind of game, what kind of book you can read, and what kind of movie you're allowed to watch? Would you be in line with that? I don't think so. And I don't plan on having that ever be in the way moving forward. Not in this nation. And then, goddamn, not that I buy these games, but they're really getting things started now, huh? I don't think this is a good thing, by the way. And then a follow-up comment reads, Baldur's Gate 3 was in early access and had mature themes, even though they didn't technically add full nudity until release. Huh? Well, I guess I do buy those games. This is bullshit. So, yeah, you see where this is going? There's a lot of games that we've all played that feature, not all, but some, feature some kind of sense of nudity. And now the studio has to be cautious. Like, what if they're like all the way through an early access and they're like, holy shit, we have to get rid of this like middle boss fight that introduces him because we have some weird thing that's supposed to set up the plot to go into Act 2, which might have something that maybe Collective Shout might not be aligned with, but hey, our gamers don't see any problem with it. Don't you see how that could be a little bit problematic? I mean, Baldur's Gate 3, by the way, was Game of the Year. Winner! That features nudity. Do you really want to see a game like that be removed completely from storefronts? Just because it features a little bit of a polygon shade of nudity that maybe you're not accustomed to? If you don't like it, don't buy it. Maybe be a better parent. Don't allow your kids to be able to get the access to be able to purchase these kind of style of video games. And then the next comment reads, whatever you feel about these type of games is not something you want to see happening. What will come next? And then a follow-up comment reads, no post-launch NSFW content. Could also apply to games like Baldur's Gate 3, adding romanceable companions with sex scenes during its early access run. This rule could easily target AAA games like Larian's in the future, through something tells me they won't be hit unlike indie games. Is that how gamers are feeling? Do they feel like the AAA games get a little bit of a pass and it's always the indie developers that are always being picked on? Does anybody remember last year how cringy it was to see so many streamers playing Baldur's Gate 3? This was about a year or two ago. And they were generally trying to act surprised that they were having sex with the bear in Baldur's Gate 3 because that was an option you get to have in the game. Does anybody remember that? It's like even this last comment right here. It would also quite literally affect Grand Theft Auto 4 if it was released today because of the DLC penis scene. Does anybody remember that? Crazy stuff, man. Wild. Why anybody would choose to even have sex with a bear in a game is another story, too. My Lord. And then wild to see Steam just fold like a house of cards. Seriously, are they putting up with that kind of fight at all? And then all these companies care about is money. Valve clearly did the math and saw that they won't lose a significant chunk of change from booting these not to be shown for work games off versus trying to wage war against payment monopolies. Valve probably also sees it as a way to clean up their shop so it can get a kid-friendly push. There are plans for a Steam Machine 2.0, Steam Deck 2, and probably sourcing out their Linux distro to other manufacturers. Probably want to make as kid-friendly and neutral as possible. Yeah, I mean, especially with a lot of pressure being shown towards Roblox about how it is not child-friendly for being majority of the player base and, you know, Puff Daddy or Puff Diddy games and, you know, all kinds of weird stuff, you know, showing up on that platform beyond just, you know, E-friendly grow a garden game that was blowing up earlier in March and April. Yeah, I can see why a storefront, you know, that has to find a way to make its money, getting pressure from payment processors is going to oblige whether we all like it or not. Like, where are they going to go? It's not like I could just hand you physical cash to get my digital good from Steam or Valve. Where do we go? What is the answer? And then the last comment reads, why is this something that even needs policing? Are people incapable of just ignoring media that doesn't appeal to them? I think that is a very fair argument. Very, very fair argument to leave. And I mean, that's which leaves us with the bigger gamer question. If corporations keep tightening the rules on what counts as acceptable art, are we heading towards a future where adult games go completely underground, or are gamers just going to find new ways to play anyways? It's no different than when people illegally stream in pay-per-view fights or NFL Sunday Ticket. Will they find a way? Is this our new dystopian future? Let me know what's good. All right, let's switch some gears because have you ever noticed how Hollywood has basically run out of ideas? It just feels like that recently. And like, instead of writing anything new, they just raiding our Steam library over and over and over again. And honestly, it's working. And according to a new study by Ampre Analysis, TV adaptations of video games are absolutely rocket fuel for player numbers. Like Fallout didn't just break the internet, it made people remember Fallout 76 exists, which is a miracle in itself. Yeah, I know. I always keep making that joke over and over again, but it's true. When you're thinking about Fallout, you're not thinking about 76. You're thinking about Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4. And the numbers, man, they are completely wild. A TV adaptation gives a game franchise an average 203% boost in players, while movies only 48%. And that's not just a bump. That's a call in sick to work and level up until your thumbs fall off kind of increase. And so, you know, Fallout TV series, it's just been phenomenal for Amazon Prime. I mean, it basically broke the vault door wide open. In 6 months, 100 million people watched it. And the number of active players exploded by 490%. Fallout 4 sales went up 410%. And oh yeah, do you guys remember that one Fallout Shelter game? Well, the in-app purchases went up 150%. I mean, it's just totally insane. And somebody out there actually paid for bottle caps with real money, and Todd Howard probably bought another leather jacket. I know. Strapping young lad, right? Who would have thought if everything fails for Bethesda, he's got a modeling career for leather jackets moving forward. But hey, all jokes aside, The Last of Us was no slouch either. I mean, the HBO show dragged more than 4 million new players into the apocalypse. I mean, compare that to The Last of Us Part 2 remastered, which boosted users by 70%. So it does turn out TV shows are the real clickers here, except you actually want to be near them. You know what I mean? And now TV isn't just winning, it's completely clowning on movies. I mean, think about it. Watching a movie requires you to leave your house, put on pants, pay $20 for popcorn that tastes like styrofoam. Meanwhile, you're watching The Last of Us, on HBO or Fallout on Amazon Prime. Just means you get to hit play on your console and then you get to immediately swap over to Fallout 4 or even The Last of Us without even moving your Dorito-ass fingers. That's what I like to call efficiency. And as you can see from this chart, even the smaller shows are putting up big numbers. I mean, yeah, Netflix's Devil May Cry anime ranked like 58 in popularity, which is like basically background noise for folding laundry. But it's still boosted player numbers by 358%. So imagine if Netflix actually promoted it. Like, think about it. People are still swinging Dante's sword today, but this train isn't stopping anytime soon. Coming up, we've got Splinter Cell, Death Watch on Netflix, Witcher Season 4, replacing Henry for Liam Hemsworth. We got Fallout Season 2 in December, and Amazon's working on both God of War and a Mass Effect. Yeah, I mean, Kratos is going to be a dad on Prime Video. I mean, I hope Jeff Bezos is ready to be yelled at for 10 straight episodes with boy. And so, yeah, the future of gaming IP isn't just games. It's your entire watch list. So get ready, because soon your favorite streamer won't be just playing the game. They'll be binging the show adaptation too. And with that, let's check out what gamers are saying about the madness and this new report with the following. So the first comment reads, Fallout was surprising on how good it was, though. I mean, it was enjoyable, but what's up with the whole behind the door narrative? Never intrigues me, but as far as, what's behind the door shows go, gosh, I couldn't think about what the WBTD was for a second. It's pretty good. I mean, but that's the overall premise with Fallout, right? I mean, you're going to get people out there that aren't gamers, that want to be immersed in the world that we all love so much. Like, I love playing Fallout. I love walking through that nuclear, post-apocalyptic wasteland. And just to see that unfold on Amazon Prime has been such a treat. And yeah, I can see why, TV lovers are loving that concept of what's behind the door, especially with how they left that cliffhanger after season 1 and showing New Vegas. I mean, wouldn't that make you want to pick up a controller even if you weren't a gamer? I don't know. Where are my non-gamers at tuning in to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show? Did you see Fallout and you watched it and you immediately wanted to pick up the sticks? Let me know. Like, I know when that game was playing and I saw New Vegas, I beat it for like the 10th time. I had to play it again. It made me so excited to want to relive those glory days I had. Almost like, gosh, when did New Vegas come out? Like, it feels like 15 years ago. Insane. And then surely it depends on the games. Narrative heavy games with a long story like The Last of Us only makes sense as a series. But there are other games whose stories fit better in a movie. I always thought Fear would make a pretty banging movie. John Wick action with bullet time plus the spooky little girl from The Ring with some sprinkle of government-funded experiment and conspiracy could fit tightly in a 2.5-hour format. Yeah, or just don't ruin it. I mean, sometimes things are just like written as it is. I mean, I think about the Uncharted movies. I mean, with, Tom Holland, sure, I thought he was a bit too young, didn't quite look like Nathan Drake that I play, but it really was the Mark Wahlberg solely that really does it. It's just like when you have, these casting choices sometimes, like I know has been some of the gripe even with The Last of Us, or just even having like people like Neil Druckmann step in and like feel like has to tweak the HBO TV series because he's so afraid that the gamers are going to know what's going to come next. I think gamers do want to know exactly how it goes and unfolds. I don't think they feel like as if you need to tweak the story. Like this isn't like, like the whole Game of Thrones ordeal where they write the show faster than the books are being written. Just keep it the way it is and people will love you for it. But then I guess the real test is going to be with the new Resident Evil movie. Whether people are going to love that or not. I mean, apparently it's going to be set in Raccoon City. You're not going to have your classic, characters like Leon and them, join along for the ride. It's going to be other, movie adapted characters that are going to be immersed in the video game world that we all love. Does that work? I feel like it's only being explored in movies right now more than anything. But then again, yeah, we are still seeing it with TV adaptations today. Maybe with Fallout, it's a little bit more open-ended. I get where you're coming from, fam. And then Twisted Metal was one of the most surprising one to me. I turned it on out of curiosity and was absolutely hooked. I want a next-gen Twisted Metal game so bad. And I think that is kind of the idea moving forward. Maybe there is a game out there that is like hasn't been around in such a long time. And if it does get enough momentum, enough success, clearly the numbers are showing when it becomes a TV series that when people, gamers, are watching your series, they will eventually go back and revisit your franchise. And if enough gamers show enough support and demand, just maybe, we might get that Twisted Metal Battle Royale. I mean, wouldn't that be pretty freaking badass? I like to see it happen. It's been way too freaking long. And then The Last of Us, it's not even close. Fallout was done well, but The Last of Us was brilliant. And I refused to watch it because I didn't want the show to ruin the game for me. But if you insist it's that good, I'll give it a try. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the idea too. It's to pique curiosity. And it goes both ways. And I think moving forward, that's what TV adaptations provide. It's not like it's one box office weekend. With TV shows, you have to anticipate it weekly. So you might feel like as if a gamer, you're missing out on that mid-season finale. Or even the finale just in itself. You get where I'm coming from? And then it's really weird that I keep seeing people hold up The Witcher as proof that video game adaptations can be good or they should be TV instead of film, despite the fact that The Witcher isn't a video game adaptation. It's based on the books. A follow-up comment reads, to be fair, there's no way Netflix would have made a show based on some obscure fantasy novels from Poland without the game's success. And I just want you to take a look at this comment and really look at when it was posted. 4 years ago. And the reason and I screenshotted this comment, this thread, was because I wonder how they feel today seeing Netflix, replace Superman himself from the Witcher series, someone who was trying to get even closer to the source material, gets ousted, and then replaced for Chris Hemsworth's brother. The guy that once dated Miley Cyrus? Yeah, that guy. There's a new clip going around showing him kind of, doing his thing with that luscious hair. Will you be still tuning in? Netflix is banking you will for season 4. And the last comment reads, shows, I feel, are the better way to go when it comes to video games that are very story-driven. That being said, I don't necessarily have the want of a cinematic experience of video games in the form of a movie or TV show, as I once did, mostly because games are cinematic enough to stand on its own legs to fulfill that want. How do you prefer your delivery of video games? Would you like to see it not at all? How do you prefer? Would you play the game first and then jump on the bandwagon later and then watch the TV show at another time? Or has there ever been an experience during your own personal time when you're glued and locked to the screen, whether you're watching your favorite shows from your smart TV or your console or your PC gaming rig? Has there been a gaming TV show that you love so much and then you're like, you know what? I liked Arcane. I want to be immersed in that world now. I want to see where this story and lore goes. Let me know, because I want to just end this topic by leaving you with the question. If TV adaptations are this powerful at reviving franchises, which game would you actually want to see get the small screen treatment next? And what would you play all over again just because of the show? Let me know what's good. But man, this has been such a blast here on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, and I can't thank all the gamers for joining me live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible. And I am going to go ahead and show you guys this beautiful QR code that leads you directly to my YouTube channel. Show some love, show some support, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show. And as I said before, HenricK is out traveling all across the world. He is in South Korea at this time and is going to be visiting even the beautiful country of Japan at one point. And so expect a solo ride from your boy Chris Collins for the next month. And man, the only way you're going to know we're back and doing another live show is if you subscribe. But for now, fam, I will see you next week. And, you know, play all the video games you like, fam. Who's going to tell you that you can't put down the sticks or not? Maybe your mom, maybe your daddy, maybe your girlfriend. Who cares? Let it ride, baby.